Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Before I get started, now these episodes, a lot of times, and reviewers and things of that nature, we tend to sit there and see things in different perspectives. While some may sit there and maybe point out the positive stuff, and that hits them, um, other people will kind of sit there and look at it and be like, you know, as much as good as this episode was, there was things that just kind of irked me. I'm one of those people. So before we get started, me and Brock TV's review of today's episode is going to be different. So if you are looking for probably the more positive stuff, not to sit there and say I won't mention it, you should probably head over to his channel because he's going to be a lot more generous than I am. Okay, so let's start off with this whole family get together. Willow and Michael and telling Drew that they're having a child and everything's all great and peachy. Okay, if this was just normal circumstances, I'll be on Team Happy. We'll call it Team Happy. I'll be on Team Happy. Be like, yeah, that's great. Yada 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 yada. While Drew is happy and his reaction, it's really nice for them to hear. I can't help but sit there and think that there's two people in this room that are just lying their asses off. And it's going to come to a head. Now, while Willow, when it comes out that she's lying about her health, it won't be as severe. Um, Michael will just be more scared and just being like, why did you not tell me? And Willow just be like, no, I was doing it for your benefit, and you had enough to worry about, and blah 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 blah. She'll come up with the reasons of why she lied. Carly, knowing that Nina is her bio mom, is just choosing not to tell her, and is just lying in her face, and and their joy, their joy of bringing a new life into this world. And she's just celebrating and laughing and da 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 da. The whole time she is sitting there lying to this woman's face. So all the laughter that she was having just irritated the living life out of me. Okay, so I couldn't sit there and look at that scene and be like just as joyous, as happy as everyone else. If everyone else didn't watch the show, because I just kept sitting there thinking that when this truth comes out and she needs a bone marrow transplant, I'm assuming, that they're all going to be sitting there looking at Carly like, why did you not say anything? So, Sonny has gotten a lot, Sonny's gotten a lot more sloppier, okay? And, for a lot of people who love Sonny and everything like that, and they're looking at him sideways and they're like, I don't recognize this Sonny. This is somebody who watched the show since high school, okay? Hell, half my dress attire came from Jason. I can tell you firsthand that there's a lot of things that I don't co-sign what Sonny's doing. And I also do understand that people do change for the better, for the worse, and this is questionable for me. Sonny's gotten a lot more sloppier. Okay, I want to emphasize that. When he was with Jason and Jason was there doing this stuff, the fact that Jocelyn was able to sit there and just, granted, this could have just been a well of coincidence. But the fact that Jocelyn was there was just like, bro, what are you doing? You're having rookies sit there and doing your enforcing things of that nature, like Sonny's not there punching him. I'm like, no, that's job. What are you doing? So I want to rough Dax up and scare the living life out of him. Now, I'm for it because that guy is a terrible human being. Okay, and the stuff that he said to Sasha, I feel like that is an ass whooping that I'm just in awe about. Okay, Jocelyn is recording the whole thing and tells Sonny, "I'm going to turn you in." Now this is personal for Jocelyn. This stems back from, Sonny, choosing, oh, I don't really want to remember. I just want to enjoy my, I was going to sit there and try to make a joke, but screw it. Enjoying my time with Leah, with Nina, just living it up. And so, she's mad about that. She's mad about the way that he treated her mom. She's mad about all that. Now, Sonny is like, don't do that to Donna and Avery. Now, is that kind of a coward's move? Yeah, I can see that. But let's be honest. Their families are too connected for there not to be fallout for what Jocelyn does. You know? The, it's that's the truth of the matter. They're all too connected. Now maybe Michael may not care, Donna might care, um, Avery might care, and Christina will care. Okay, so there's a ripple effect to what Jocelyn's going to do, and because she's like her mom, she acts before she thinks, and she was ready to sit there and turn him over to the cops. Sonny's like, what? Listen, I'm not sitting there like dealing with children when it comes towards my life, and I'm not going to sit there and defend my actions, what I'm doing, to somebody who is not even a adult. Just not going to go there. So he leaves, and now Dax is there. I'm like, Dax, the fact that he just left you there to clean up his mess and be like, whatever happens, happens. Maybe you should probably just, find another a line of work. Now, obviously, I know that Dax is working for Michael, but still. Dax convinces Jocelyn to not turn any evidence, being like, yo, listen, Sonny may get off because he has the best lawyers. I may not. I kind of did side with Jocelyn because I was like, listen, boohoo, you chose to sit there and get into this line of work. Whatever happens, happens. I'm sitting there thinking maybe his trump card, which probably would have been his trump card, would sit there and say, hey, listen, I'm working for your brother to take Sonny down. You doing this is not going to help. That's what I'm sitting there thinking. But he didn't tell her that, and he convinced her to sit there and, delete the evidence. I feel like there's probably going to be something with Joss and Dax. I'm just going to call it now. And maybe if they decide to have Christina there, maybe there could be some sort of a love triangle. I hate those things. I hate those things with a passion, but, it's a soap opera staple. It is what it is. And I can't stand it, but whatever. What else we got going on? Now, Sonny came to Carly to be like, yo, you got to get your daughter under control. Probably not the best words to sit there and come at Carly with, but sure, whatever. Tells Carly, hey, listen, Jocelyn's going to turn me in, and that's not going to be good for the family. It's not going to be good for me and for the girls and everything like that. So you need to rein her in. Carly's like, yo, Jocelyn's a grown-ass woman. I don't think she hit 21 yet, but whatever. Let her make her own choices. She's choosing to just be like, hey, listen, whatever happens, happens. And they get into a back and forth. And at this point, Drew's like, yo, you need to kick rocks. Sonny's like, are you going to sit there and tell me what to do in my own house? Did you forget that it's not your house anymore? Just want to throw that out there. And, Drew's like, yo, this isn't your house either. So Sonny makes a remark about them living together. And, Carly's like, yo, listen, you need to kick rocks. Sonny does say something along the lines of, listen, you already lost a hotel. There's a lot more to lose. And when he said that, I was like, I can understand why people are just like, this isn't the Sonny that I recognize. That isn't the first time that they went back and forth for each other. But the fact that he was like, you can lose a lot more. I mean, there's a line in the sand and it's there. It's there. And I can understand where people are coming from with the whole, I don't recognize this Sonny. Hell, I can even understand the character Smith is saying, I don't recognize this version of you. This is what I always sit there and say. People change for better or worse. You know, soap operas and that whole, these long soap operas and these characters developments and things of that nature. That's what it is. And sometimes it doesn't work out in everyone's favor, or the favor that people want it to work out in. I'll just leave it at that. Oh, Molly, 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 Molly. What can I say about her? Well, she recognized that she is naive. I don't think from day one that she truly believed that Trina was um, guilty, but she trusted in the legal system. Yeah, okay. So she trusted in the legal system, and she realized that it's just not, it's not fair. And she also realized that she is practically being reassigned to another case. Now, she said that she can keep a sense of, objectivity. I'm like, how is that possible? You're way too connected with what's going on. You know too many people. You have too many people in common for you not to be able to see clearly. The fact that the DA did not sit there and tell her you can't do this is just, well, I don't have words for it. Okay. But she does sit there and kind of give her a bunch of paperwork and a bunch of other cases to do. So effectively, she's kind of off the case. So she's telling TJ this, and they're going back and forth with her just being naive about the legal system and talking about changing the system from the inside out, which I don't want to sit there and say it seems like a pipe dream because change doesn't happen unless you try. But it's kind of naive for her to sit there and think that she can do it alone. But whatever. Now Curtis finds Paul, I guess his name is. He's out of it. Um, Esmir is somewhere in one of his rooms or something, and Curtis calls the cops. The cops take him to General Hospital, and long story short, TJ had to put him in a medical induced coma. So for anyone that's sitting there thinking that this trial is not going to be longer than what it is, I'm going to tell you that you're wrong. That this trial, this whole Trina thing is going to be a lot longer. So just to kind of, you know, be the bearer of bad news, it's going to be a lot longer. And there's a good chance that Trina is going to go to jail. And um, I know it's not going to be good for a lot of different reasons. And to sit there and say that race isn't going to come up, so let's not sit there and try to act like that's not going to be uh, um, a topic of conversation. Hell, even a topic of conversation in the show. And this is something that I'm not going to not see coming, you know? I think when it initially happened, I was kind of blindsided because I was like, I don't understand why they're talking about race. But in hindsight, not just talking to JLJ Media, but just really sitting there talking to my subscribers, I understood while that was in play. So, any future conversations that they talk about as far as, race and stuff like that, yeah, you might want to kind of brace yourself for that in case you didn't think that that stuff was coming. Now, I will 150% stand by the fact that Esme, her attack on Jocelyn is not, her attack on Trina is not racially motivated. Okay. It is vindictive and petty. It's vindictive and petty. And she doesn't like the fact from day one that she saw somebody else coming after her property. Even though she doesn't even like that property and she's just using Spencer, the fact that somebody else came at her property and that's what she's upset about. And anyone that's not there thinking that this is racially motivated is reaching. Okay? Now, when she says something, she does something that comes across racially motivated, then yes, I will jump on board with that with open eyes and open arms and everything else. But until then, No, no. It's just a petty, vindictive girl with a bunch of daddy issues and psychological trauma and everything else is in play. Willow feels that, since the baby and everything like that is coming, they're living a good life. Why don't you drop the whole vendetta against Sunny? But Michael's like, no, I can't do it because plot. Okay? Because of plot. Let's just be very clear about that. Of course, in the back of her mind, she's sitting there thinking about what TJ said about her health. Now, with that being said, she's still not going to tell the truth because plot. Okay? Because of her dumbass reasons that she's going to sit there and come up with later on. I'm going to be sitting there rolling my eyes because I'm going to be like, yep, that totally made sense. Now, I want to sit there and talk about Valentin and Anna because, newsflash, Valentin is always going to lie to Anna about something, okay? And he's going to sit there and justify those reasons because of reasons. So I always find it funny whenever I watch clips of GH and Valentin and Anna, and everyone's all like, oh, they're so cute together. They're so, what are the words that they use? Hot and hot and steamy together. Like, every time they use words like that, I just sit there and think, seeing this scene right there is just like, do you still find him hot and steamy? I mean, he can just simply tell her the truth at any point in time. And I get it. His daughter's life is in danger. Maybe, sort of, not really. I mean, I don't think that Victor is actually going to do anything to Charlotte on a physical note. Okay, the worst thing he can sit there and probably do is brainwash her into, I don't know, hating Valentine or something like that. But I don't think he's going to actually. This isn't one of those cases, and I will use this as a comparison. I don't know if it's true or not. A while ago, Lulu didn't tell Dante that Ethan was in trouble, and then after everything came to light, everyone kept really going at Lulu. Like, even Carly was like, "Oh well, that's your husband. That's your husband. You should have told the truth. That's your husband." That irritated the living life out of me because Lulu got specific instructions not to involve any cops of any kind whatsoever. Because, her brother's life was in danger by a bunch of people that would have happily killed him. Okay? But she got so much crap for not telling Dante. It was ridiculous. This is not on the same degree. Okay? It's not like some actual enemy that kidnapped Charlotte and he couldn't sit there and tell Anna. Then I would understand. This is literally your dad that kidnapped your daughter. Which is weird to sit there and say that out loud, but screw it. We're going to go with that. And you're still not going to sit there and say anything. Knowing that she came from the same background as you. Knowing how important it is to sit there and keep quiet. And yeah, I get it. You tell somebody something, there's a good chance that they can sit there and go out into whatever. But she's also a super spy. You don't think that she can sit there and help it on some sort of level? So she was like, yo, I'm done. I don't want to sit there and go with the lies. And of course, Valentine tells one more lie. My spine, infection, me looking weak, enemies. And her keeping her guard up until the point where he allowed her to kiss him. I mean, allowed him to kiss him. And I'm just like, while I'm watching this, I'm just like, I don't want to sit there and say shake my fist, but I'm just looking at my phone like, mm-hmm. And the minute that he kissed, I'm just like, I got so annoyed. I'm like, sweetheart, this is why you need to trust your instincts. Okay? Because you checked into the clinic, you knew there was something off. He didn't sit there and tell you. He could have told you that, but out of a sense of pride, but you stayed and you entertained him to sit there and tell you more lies. And then you let him kiss. Like, sometimes I sit there and I watch this. Sometimes I sit there and I watch this show. I watch these soap operas, and I sit there and think, if I had a couple of glasses of wine, but that changed my perception. I was watching one of the Jurassic Park movies with Chris Pratt. I think this is the first one he was in. And in the first hour I watched it, I had a glass of wine. Well, I had a couple of glasses of wine. I was enjoying the living life out of it. And then I watched the other half of the movie sober. So I always sit there and make me wonder, people sit there and watch these soap operas sometimes and they have their glass of wine or whatever and they're watching it with their friends and they're just enjoying all of it. It's like, oh man, it's so cool, it's so hot and steamy and sexy. It's like, would you still feel that way if you were watching it sober? Just wondering. Oh, and the last one is also with Ava and Nicholas and Spencer. I forgot about that. Of course I do, because I'm always going to sit there and be reminded about the bloated cast. Anyway, um, Ava and Nicholas are talking, and Spencer comes in there. He wants to know about the trial. Um, so Ava tells her about the trial and talks about how bad it went and about how every time that Jocelyn thought she was helping, she was making matters worse. Okay? Because, she decided to go off script because of feelings and emotions and plot. So while they're talking it up, Esme is like, hey, I need to sit there and talk to you, Nicholas. Gives him a text. Nicholas comes outside. Esme is like, I feel really guilty with everything going all up in the air in my internship. And I feel like I need to sit there and unburden myself by telling you the truth about us having, passionate sex together on the floor like animals. So Nicholas is like, hey, whoa, 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 whoa. Listen, I don't think life is that bad. Maybe I could sit there and try to get you back into the program. I can use my connects. I can do whatever it takes to shut you up. And that's literally what he does. And after that, he goes back in the Metro Hotel, which I'm surprised that, they're allowed to be in. Oh, wait a minute. Carly's not the owner anymore. Tee hee. Um, it's not like Carly, I do, but I feel like she kind of had this one coming because of bad decisions and, plot. Um, so anyway, she goes back and Esme is smiling a little bit and she calls the hospital because she finds out that the guy is in the hospital. And she's all like, oh, that's my dad. Is he going to be okay? And long story short, is my imagination, well, I don't think that whatever her name is, oh, something with a D, Deanna. I'm wondering if Deanna actually violated any sort of HIPAA laws. Because, granted, Esme was like, oh, that's my dad, but you don't know if that's her dad on the phone. So she gave her a little bit of information, and she couldn't give him too much. She did sit there and say something like, oh, well, there's going to be a neurologist that's going to be coming in or whatever. So I'm just wondering just how much she violated HIPAA law. But then again, I always sit there and think about Willow and that jackass of a judge is violating HIPAA. Anyway, Esme got the news that she wanted to hear. And she was like, oh, is he going to be in a coma or something like that? And she hangs up. Now she's smiling because, well, she's a psychopath. So her plan is going well. And, Curtis and Molly and TJ are talking. And realizing this guy's going to be in a coma and is going to be the only person that's going to be able to, um, be a witness to Esme or anything like that. Now, granted, he got a little bit out of that guy before he, passed out, but it's not proof. Which again is why I'm sitting there saying for the people that, was hoping that this thing was going to wrap up and Trina trials was going to be over, well, it's not going to be over and it's probably going to get a lot worse before it gets better. So I guess the question is how much favors, how much he's going to owe Miss Wu for, you know, like how much is he going to sit there on Miss Wu at the end of getting Trina, out of this whole thing. And there was a time I was sitting there a couple weeks ago, or maybe last week. I was like, you should have just went to Sunny. He would have got you all that you needed, and you wouldn't have had to sit there and deal with Miss Wu and whatever sort of consequences that was going to be falling upon him. But seeing how Sunny has been, well, having a bunch of bad decisions since he got back from Nixon Falls, and Jocelyn finding out, oh, you're sitting there gonna kill somebody. I mean, that's sloppy in itself. Maybe Miss Wu is actually kind of the better choice. I mean, Sunny has not been known for making good decisions since Nixon Falls. Miss Wu, on the other hand, seems very calm, cool, and collective. So, there's that. Now I feel like that's about it. I really feel like that's about it. You know, I've really been saying this too often, and mostly because it sounds really nagging, because I hate when other YouTubers do this, but I actually feel kind of good about this review. So if you could share this, that would definitely help. So far, we're at 973 subscribers, and getting kind of close to 1,000. And it's just weird. It's just weird sitting there thinking about that. It's weird sitting there being like, 1,000 subscribers. I feel like that's an accomplishment, not just for me, but for everyone who watches the channel, for everyone who believes in this channel, for everyone who believes in me, and just enjoy the content that we got to this point. And it's surreal. Anyway, we're already at 27 minutes, which is way past the usual time that I usually do this review. So I'm gonna end it on that note. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna just make a post because we're gonna be just talking about the soaps. I was gonna sit there and think because, long story short, I'm making a co-fine, or gonna be in the process of making a co-fine. I'm just kind of wondering what everyone wants as far as any sort of extra perks and stuff like that that I can include in my co-fine. I feel like Ko-Fi is a little bit better than Patreon, maybe. Anyway, if you don't remember to sit there and include anything else that I can probably use my Ko-Fi, just let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section as far as this episode is concerned, because there's a lot to unpack. And thank you for watching. I'll see everyone in the next video.